Happy Wednesday evening. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous people. I hope that your Wednesday has gone beautifully. You got to chill when you needed to chill. If you hear any roaring outside, there's some people over at the football pitch playing football. I hope you got to chill when you needed to chill. I hope you got to be productive when you needed to be productive. I hope you got to create when you wanted to create. I hope you got to spend quality time with whoever it was that you needed to spend quality time with. And I feel like I need to change my camera angle, and I always have to remember that's better. Let me put it over there a bit. Okay, cool. So this evening's conversation is a big one. And I was thinking about whether it was the right conversation to have, but usually when something comes to mind, it's the right time to do it. And often we don't do the things that are the right things to do because we're worried about what other people will think. We are worried about what other people will say. We're worried about everything other than focusing on ourselves. And if you know anything, the only person that you can change is yourself. The only world that you can change is your own. So with that being said, I want to talk about where we are in the current world today. And like I said, it's a big conversation. It could be controversial. You may push back. I don't mind. I'm going to have the conversation anyway. When you're sitting at home and you're thinking about where we are right now, and you're thinking about how we got here, and in today's world, we're spending so much of our time watching the news, watching social media, hearing stories, compounding fear from any end of the spectrum. It doesn't matter. And we sit and we take it all in. And the conversation always leads to whose responsibility is it? How did we get where we are? And who do we need to blame? And the conversation often goes to, we need to blame the government because they're inept. We need to blame these people because they have lots of money and they want power. We need to blame someone over here because they've done something else. And when a conversation goes to blame, when it goes to a space where you are lifting anything away from yourself and putting it on somebody else, it's a beautiful moment to actually sit back and say, hold on a second. Because without any blame, without any shame, and without any guilt around what I'm about to say, we are where we are because of us, not because of anyone else. We're here in this unusual situation, and some will call it a shit show. It has been hard. It's been trying. It's tested people. It's been 18 months or 24 months, depending on where you are, of trying to figure out what to do next, of trying to figure out where it all went wrong, of trying to figure out what's the best course of action, of trying to figure out how to protect people. And it's constantly a state of emergency. And I wrote a poem a while back called Agency. And as I was writing it sort of kind of for fun and sort of kind of because it was really serious. And the most important thing that came from it was that it's up to us where we go next, because it was up to us that we got here. Every single person in the world, works together, even though we don't think we are, to make something happen. A collective conscious decision happens across the entire world, and we end up in these situations. And it's evolution. You know, people talk about climate change like it's the first time it's ever been discussed. How did we get from one age to the next age? How did we go from Stone Age to whatever age was next, to the Ice Age, to whatever was next, to where we are? It's evolution. We're evolving all of the time. We're not facing any new problems, we're just facing them in a new way. We're facing patterns that we've already had. And the patterns that we've already had were also brought about by us. So the first thing to do in this entire situation is take responsibility. Every single person gets to take responsibility for where we are. I didn't say every person has to take the blame. And I didn't say every person should feel shame. And I didn't say anybody needed to feel guilt about it. Because when you take responsibility, you actually get to breathe. It feels liberating. It feels very freeing when you say, I've had a hand to play in this. Because somewhere along your life, you've allowed something to happen. Somewhere along your life, you haven't stood up for something that was right. You've allowed something that was wrong. Somewhere along your life, you've given in a situation that you could have stood up in. Somewhere along your life, you've done something that was not integral to who you are as a person. Somewhere along your life, something has happened that has been completely out of alignment with the person that you are. So if that's the case, and we're in this position because we brought it upon ourselves, and it doesn't matter what side of it you're on, it doesn't matter. We make it matter by saying, I want this or I want that. I want to take responsibility, and then I want to enjoy freedom. And I want to enjoy freedom from the pattern. I want to enjoy freedom from the perpetual nature of the things that we do to get ourselves into this position. And we're never going to get to that place unless we really recognize that it's important that we take responsibility. So when you're sitting and you're watching the news, or you're reading the newspaper, or you're scrolling through your Telegram groups, or you're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or wherever you play, it is vital for you to realize that it's nobody's fault. And the responsibility doesn't lie with anyone else. It lies with everyone else, including yourself. And it can be a really harsh lesson to learn. It can be something that makes you go, ugh, I don't want to take that responsibility. I had nothing to do with this. I did nothing wrong. I didn't do anything I wasn't supposed to be doing. I'm not the government. I'm not these people. I'm not pharma. I'm not whoever. This is true. But you're you and I'm me, and we're here, and we created this entire situation by who we have been being all the way up until now. And the most important piece of all of this, and I had a conversation with somebody, as you know, a couple of days ago, and it was a life-changing conversation. And I hope that this piece will allow you to sit with that for a second. For one thing to be possible, anything and everything must then be possible. So if we've created this situation, if we, because of the lives that we've led, and the people before us and the lives that they've led, and the people before them and the lives that they've led, if we have gotten ourselves to this position, if we have created this situation on a global scale, then we can create a different outcome. We can create a new situation. We can create a new way. We can create anything that we want, because if it's possible for us to have created where we are, then anything else is possible as well. And when you realize that, when you come to that realization and you sit and you figure out that you're so powerful that you can create the situation that you're in, and that you're so powerful that collectively we have created this situation that we're in, then I really want you to have a look at the ways in which you can create and change the situations that you're in your own life specifically. And that only happens when you take responsibility. And And like I said, it can feel really icky. It can feel like somebody is saying it's your fault. It can feel like somebody is saying you should be ashamed. And it feels like somebody is saying you should feel guilty. That's not what this is about. You've got to put down all of those useless emotions and instead sit with that for a second and realize that by you taking responsibility means that you now know that you're the creator of a situation. And whether it's a bad situation or a good situation, you're the creator of it, which means if you can create this, you can create anything. So I want you to have a look at what's going on in your life at the minute, good, bad, or indifferent, and really take responsibility for it with no blame, no shame, no guilt, no bad feelings, just curiosity and just awareness and honesty. And then when you do that, ask yourself how you can change it, how you can be the creator in your own life so that you can change your situation and create something brand new. And as you're doing that and you're in conversation with the groups of people that you're with your friends, with your family, with people who you love and care about, even with people whose opinion is wildly different from your own, come together and ask what the potential is for you creating a new situation for us to move into as a collective, as a whole. Because we have that opportunity now. It's not about fighting. It's not about wars. It's not about any of those things. It's about coming together and realizing we're responsible. We're also the creators and we can make change. So I hope that this evening you go and you sit with yourself for a while and you have that conversation with yourself, and then you have it with as many people as you want. And I'm sending you love and hugs. Thank you for listening and watching, and I'll talk to you all soon. Mwah.